some cleaning today, answer your questions. Let me see if I can see the live chat here. All messages are visible. Okay, so maybe the questions are just going to pop up, but I'm just going to be doing some cleaning. My first task right now, I got to get some Dubia roaches fed. Then I'm going to clean some leopard gecko tubs and answer your questions. So I will be here. All right, so Dubia roaches need 3 essential foods: greens, carrots, and oatmeal, and that's pretty much it. And they do well that way. You can grow thousands of them. You can make money by selling them to pet stores. Pet stores always need them. So, if you want to start your own Dubia roach colony, let me know, because I can ship and sell you some Dubias. So whoever's watching right now, if you don't mind, can you try to message just a regular message in the chat, because I'm trying to see if I could see the messages while at the same time having my phone horizontal the way it is. Hun, can you go to my live stream and see how it looks, please? Show me. Thanks, baby. So I said Dubia roaches need 3 essential foods, but they also need water. And so they can get water from their vegetables, but it's a good idea just to spray them down once every few days. And they actually take care of each other, so the mamas will bring some water to the babies and whatnot. It's pretty cool. Let's see what it looks like. So it does look good. Chat publicly. Can you send a message over chat? Just say test or whatever. What up? Cleaning some geckos, dubias. Okay, so I can see the chat messages, but message me any questions that you guys have, because I'm just going to be cleaning and doing some tasks here. Hun, can you tell me how the volume is? And you guys let me know how the volume is too. Oh, it sounds good, huh? Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. So again, just working on some tasks here. I just want to make myself available, place a platform here for you guys to interact with myself as well as each other, ask questions, get questions answered, and we'll just make it a cool couple of hours. After the Dubia roaches, I'm going to be cleaning up some leopard gecko stuff, but let me know if you got questions on anything reptile related. So what is that?
I'm just leaving it there temporarily. Don't move it.
Okay. So I want to make sure my dubias are well taken care of, so that we can make a nice little decent amount of income from them, because dubias are pretty profitable. If you don't know about dubias, pet stores are always looking for them. So if you're looking for like a side project or a side hustle to grow some money, Dubia roaches are a good side project / hustle. So oatmeal. So we're actually testing Dubia roaches out at 3 different temperature zones right now. 90 degrees at the top of the room, 85 degrees at the bottom of the room, and like 88 on a different side of the room, to see if they breed and reproduce best in certain temperature zones. So we have 7 Dubia roach colonies. And this is what the vegetables wind up looking like after a few days of them eating it. Oh yeah, Dubia roaches, leopard geckos, tag yous, bearded dragons. Any questions you guys have, feel free to put it in the chat. Is a Tremper albino mixed with a tangerine a good leopard gecko? Good question. So, Tremper albino is to sell. Okay, so Tremper albino is a recessive gene. Tangerine is a line-bred gene. So message in the chat if you know the difference between the two. But recessive means that it's passed on through mutation. Like blue eyes in human beings is passed on through mutation. There's an alteration in the genetic code that makes someone have blue eyes, green eyes, etc. It deviates from the norm, which is brown eyes. On the other hand, line breeding is breeding similar traits to each other over the course of many years so that you can acquire a desired look. In this case, Tangerine is an orange gecko. Over the last 20 years of the hobby, people have bred the most orange geckos together that they found to create the tangerines that we see today. So Tangerine is not a mutation. It's not like you can have a non-tangerine gecko create a tangerine gecko. It doesn't work that way. Tangerine geckos have to create other tangerine geckos. You know, I don't know if this is the best analogy, but I always use the analogy of human beings. If you take a tall human being and breed them to another tall human being, the babies, or the children in this case, are going to be tall. It's similar to Tangerine. You take an orange gecko, breed it to another orange gecko, and you're going to get orange geckos. But if you take a tall human being and breed them to a small human being, you're probably going to get medium-sized human beings because it's going to meet somewhere in the middle. And it's the same thing with Tangerine. If you take an orange gecko and breed it to a yellow gecko, you're going to get like a muddied up color between orange and yellow between the two. So I hope that helped, but if not, ask away, ask again. I don't mind re-explaining, so. Ooh. Cool. And this is a super chat function today, guys. So if you are able to donate, we really appreciate it. We want to save up for our reptile dreams. And we want to be able to provide that for you. So we want to open up a reptile farm one day. We're here in Arizona, so probably somewhere on the West Coast. Ty Park has his reptile farm on the East Coast. But any proceeds and donations today from super chats or super stickers are going to go towards us opening up a full-on interactive reptile facility. That's the ultimate goal here at Geeky Gecko Creations. We want people to be able to visit the facility, hold animals, pick up animals, buy animals, learn about all the different aspects of breeding, keeping, genetics, all of that, and have kind of like a focused reptile zoo, kind of like what Ty Park is doing in Florida. So if you don't follow Ty Park yet, you might want to follow him on Instagram or Facebook. He's got a gigantic reptile zoo that's going up in Florida, and it's like going to be the largest one in the world. It's pretty cool, and that would be the ultimate end goal dream for us. So any super chats, any donations today are going to go towards us opening up our own interactive reptile facility, so you guys can come visit and whatnot. So sometimes if the vegetables are starting to get old, they'll get a little bit of moldy from the Dubia roaches. You can't see, but I'm cleaning Dubia roaches right now, just getting them some fresh food. Pull out the rotting vegetables, and that's the reason I use vegetables instead of fruit, because fruit will mold and rot so easy, but vegetables usually get eaten before they start molding. So, but if they are getting a little moldy, I like to just replace them if I see it. All right, these guys got oatmeal, so all they need is some carrots and some celery sticks. That's what we feed our dubia roaches. Carrots, celery sticks, and oatmeal. And that is it, guys. That is all they need. And to me right now, in my research, that's a perfect blend of food because bearded dragons are not supposed to have high citrus content. And so if you feed your roaches oranges and high citrus and then feed it to your bearded dragons, it could affect that in time. Let me see if I could, oh yeah, how long have you been breeding roaches? So the roaches I've only actually been breeding for a year now. I started with a colony of, I want to say maybe like 1,000 or so, but I didn't realize their value. And I wanted some lizards at the time anyway. So a good friend of mine out here, John from Extreme Dragons AZ, he's got a great bearded dragon page. I wound up working out a deal with him, but I gave him like 75% of all of those adult roaches I had. And I've been slowly growing this colony back for the last 8 months. So over the last 8 months, I started with 200 females about 8 months ago. Now I have probably somewhere close to 15 to 20,000 females or almost females, ones that are almost going to be grown up females. And those babies are going to produce tons of value. So again, if you don't know about dubia roaches, the community needs them. The community is short. Pet stores are always short on crickets, dubia roaches, superworms. So if you have an affection to breed any of that, you can definitely make some money from working with local pet shops, selling online, kind of learning how to ship around the country. But we're just beginning to do that here now too. I had a popular pet store from California bought me out. She wanted 10,000 small baby roaches. You usually get good values when you sell the roaches, even in bulk like that. You're going to make a couple $1,000s per transaction, or you could sell to people locally, and there is thousands of dollars to be made in roaches. So they're so easy to take care of. If they escape in your house, they are going to die and not be able to survive. Cheap to feed, they don't smell. So if you're interested in starting your own colony, let me know, because I can sell you like a startup colony anywhere between like $20 to $50, and you just let that colony grow. Just let it grow for 12 months, and you will have thousands of breeder roaches within your first year. And then you can start selling those babies to local pet shops and seeing a return on investment from that. So we haven't been able to find crickets or superworms. Yeah, there is a shortage. There's a nationwide shortage of insects. I know it sounds crazy, but with COVID and everything going on, all the insect stores and breeders, they've been running out of feeders. So I am not kidding when I say that every pet store in the entire nation would, I don't want to say kill, but they would die to get their hands on a steady supply of insects. So if you can develop a good relationship with like 1 or 2 stores in your area, and you could just be their steady supply where they rely on you to bring them 1,000 roaches a week or whatever you agree with them, there is definitely money to be made in the roaches. So that's one of the reasons that I started the roach colony. And now we sell starter colonies to people who want to do the same thing, start up their own colony. It only takes like a year, and then you could be making thousands of dollars off of roaches, thousands of dollars a month off of roaches. And they're really easy to take care of and cheap. I have 7 different large colonies, and it only costs me like $10 a week to feed these colonies. But when these colonies are producing babies, their value could actually be worth like $2,000 a week, and it only costs me $10 a week to feed them, and a little bit of time throughout the week to feed them and take care of them. So the reward, the investment reward ratio is phenomenal for dubia roaches. So I see now we have a decent amount of people here. I just want to thank you guys. Geeky Gecko Creations YouTube channel has been growing. we are now monetized by YouTube. We're partnered with YouTube. So that means that I have the ability to do more live streams, also help to receive donations through super chats and super stickers through YouTube. And so that's one of the reasons that I'm going to be doing as much YouTube live streams as I can, so that you guys can kind of enjoy the journey, have a place to interact. You could help our company out if you have it in your heart to do so. Our goal is to create a reptile park, guys. Similar to what Ty Park is doing in Florida, we want to create an interactive reptile experience for you. Provide animals that we can sell, animals that you can interact with, content, answers to your questions. That is our goal, guys, to be a super interactive reptile community. So yeah, so if you want, Lindsay, message me on Facebook or Facebook Messenger or email geekygeckocreations@gmail.com, and I'll answer all your questions about getting a colony started, what to expect in the first year, and how to allow it to grow and keep those dubias alive. And then, I kid you not, it's only like 20 to 50 bucks depending on what size colony you want to start with. And then you just let that colony grow. Just let it grow, grow, grow. Don't touch it. That's what I've done for the last 8 months. So if you got any questions too, feel free to ask away. I'm going to be doing some Dubia roach stuff right now, as well as leopard gecko cleaning stuff after. So ask your reptile related questions. Obviously, here at Geeky Gecko Creations, we focus first on leopard geckos, second on other species, but we are heavy into ball pythons. I got some Dumerals boas that are getting ready to lay babies here at the end of March. I love reptiles, guys, right? So although leopard geckos is like the face and the focus of my company, that's because they're so easy to take care of. They come in so many different colors. They're so cheap and easy to feed. They're just a great starter animal as well as breeder animal. So you could experiment with genetics and be like your own kind of creator of color and pattern. That's why they're so great. But I love all reptile species. I have a few oddballs, odds and ends. You know what I mean? And so I can answer pretty much a decent amount of your reptile questions. So ask away if you need to. 12-ounce deli cup ratio vermiculite to water. So let me show you. If you got a little scale like this, you'll want to tare the weight first. So when you turn your scale on, uncensored, whatever. When you turn your scale on, it's going to say zeros. I think it's not reading because it's an uneven ground, but I turned my scale on. Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to put the scale down. I think it wants me to put it down. Yep. So I turned the scale on right now. It's on zeros. When you place this canister onto the scale, it's going to weigh a certain amount of weight, like 17 or 30 grams. You'll hit the T button, the tare button, and then that will set the scale at 0. And then you can scoop some vermiculite, put it in there, and let's say you have 12 ounces of actual vermiculite. Guys, it's important to make sure that you don't include the weight of the cup. So make sure you zero out the scale. It's called tearing the scale. And if you need more in-depth on that, I can explain it again. But make sure you zero out the scale. And if you have 12 grams of vermiculite, then you will spray water in there until you see 24 grams or yeah. So if you have 12 grams of vermiculite, you want to add 12 grams of water. So that means the total weight of what you're going to have in your deli cup is going to be 24 grams. Does that make sense? So I got some vermiculite here. My scale is zeroed out right now. I put this container on the scale and my scale says 0. That's what you want. Then you scoop up whatever amount of vermiculite you want to use. Now when I weigh it, it's 62 grams of just vermiculite. So now if I was to spray in water in there, I would spray in another 62 grams of water. But it's already weighing 62 grams on this scale from the vermiculite. So I will spray in there until the number hits double. 62 vermiculite plus 62 water weight equals 124. So I'll spray water in there until it's 124 grams, and then I'll put the lid on, shake it up, and get it all even, and that's it. So hope that answered your question. Yeah, come on back. I'll be here a little while, so 30 minutes. I got more questions. Yeah, it is a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm still on the 1-to-1. Most people are still on the 1-to-1 ratio for incubating eggs. And again, for you guys who are just tuning in, that's 1-to-1 ratio of vermiculite to water. Ooh, it's hot in this room. Oh, thank you, Jay. Again? Wait, is it? Yeah, you're the same one from yesterday. I appreciate it. Thank you for that super chat. Jay, I was telling everybody, any proceeds and donations, guys, I really appreciate it. I want to grow this company big, guys. I want it to be interactive, and I'm so glad that you guys are along for the ride because I'm in Arizona here, so we have pretty good year-round temperature, similar to Ty Park in Florida. If you guys know who Ty Park is, he made literally a reptile zoo, like an interactive reptile facility that you can go to. You can see the parents of the animals and then buy the babies. I would love to have something like that, you know. We are a breeder. We focus on breeding, but I would like to also open up an interactive zoo where people can come in, outside and inside animals, and hold and interact with animals, buy animals, learn about how to take care of animals. So any super chats, proceeds, donations that you guys feel on your heart to give, that's what I'm saving up for, and that's the ultimate goal for Geeky Gecko Creations. So I appreciate your guys' support. All right, so these roaches are done. One more roach tub. Last roach tub, and then we'll get to some leopard gecko cleaning. I don't think I missed any questions, but if I do, just ask again, because I'm actually on my phone, so it's kind of hard to see. But I definitely saw that, Lindsay. Not much, but hopefully it helps a little bit. Hey, $1 helps. Anything helps, guys, because all of this is just going to get saved up every time we do a live stream. And so I'm so appreciative for you guys. I think one of the benefits of live streams is that people get to interact with the community that they love, right? And now that I'm doing this full time and I have the ability to focus on this, if possible, please bear with me because it's still pretty busy taking care of all the animals. But if possible, I would love to provide a nightly platform like this while I'm doing some tasks like cleaning, breeding geckos, whatever it might be, and open up a super chat live stream like this where people can come in and donate or not donate and just ask questions and just be a part of the community. So if you guys kind of like that idea, let me know because I love interacting with the community, guys. I love it. And so if I can help in any way, I am all about it. Yeah, that's it. So it doesn't take much to feed the cockroaches. A couple for a large colony, a couple carrots, a couple celery sticks, oatmeal, some little egg crates like that, and you are good to go. Cut a hole in the top of the lid. Anyone who's looking to start their own Dubia roach colony, if you missed the intro of this video, they are so lucrative, guys. Dubia roaches. Pet stores always need Dubia roaches. If you're looking for a little grind, a little hustle that you can make money at, start a Dubia roach colony. And within a year, you could be making a couple $1,000s a month selling roaches to local pet stores. So, yeah, Jay, we're going to get you those roaches. Don't you worry. I just got a pair of fat-tailed geckos. That is cool. Fat-tailed geckos are really becoming popular. They come in a lot of different colors. Really cool colors and pattern mutations that leopard geckos don't come in. Some even look like Oreo cookies, so it's pretty cool. I've never had one. To my knowledge, it's a little bit different care, feeding-wise and whatnot, but let us know how your experience goes, Jay, because that is going to be that is a popular reptile right now and will continue to be a popular reptile into the future of this hobby. I don't know if you guys saw me spray down the last tub, but I got to check. Make sure I sprayed it down, because that's one of the things that benefits roaches is they benefit from humidity and water. The mama roaches will bring water to their little babies until the babies are old enough to fend for themselves. Yep, we did. So all the roaches are taken care of. Now we're going to get into leopard gecko stuff, guys. And I can't express again how thankful I am for the people that just did the super chat, even the people that are just answering questions. I don't have the ability, I'm not a millionaire to donate to everyone's super chat, so I totally understand. I appreciate your guys' heart, but thank you guys so much for the people that are donating. Lindsay and Jay again, I appreciate you guys so much today. I'm going to put these vegetables away. It'll take me literally like 20 seconds just to run to the fridge, and then I'll be right back, and I'm going to do some leopard gecko cleaning. So get your questions ready. If you have any questions on breeding geckos, leopard gecko mutations or morphs, etc., I'm here to answer. All right, guys, thank you for sticking around. Let's see if I missed any questions. I don't think I did. No. I'm probably going to need some new water here in a second, but I don't want to leave you guys, so I'm going to hold off on that until absolutely necessary, because that usually takes like a minute or two to kind of fill up there. So, we started breaking down. I mean, this is kind of cool. Now that I got the camera here, yesterday I was using my laptop because it did not allow me to do a live stream from my phone. Today it's allowing me to do a live stream from my phone. So this is my first time doing a live stream from the phone, but I'm really excited about it because you can do things with a phone that you can't easily do with a laptop. I can just show you guys stuff. So if there's something you want to see, let me know, super chat it or message it in the live chat. If I see your question or what you want to see, I'll take you over there. You know what I mean? Here's some mealworms because we're going to feed some animals. Here's our vitamin mix if you want to know about what vitamin mix we use and what ratio we use for that. So talking about, let's see here. I'm actually going to disconnect from my charger here for a second. Talking about leopard gecko management, we have one adult rack here that holds about 48 adults, another adult rack here that holds another 48 adults, a baby rack here that holds about 170 babies. It's pretty crazy. And so this is our first big year of producing. We're probably going to get somewhere between 300 to 400 leopard gecko babies this year, just leopard gecko babies. But bear with us because I was saying last night on the live stream, our goal at Geeky Gecko Creations is to help you guys grow your collection and your ability to create life and create color and art. For us to do that, we want to bring you guys high quality animals for good pricing. Is there a better way to put that? High quality animals for quality pricing. I don't want to charge you guys an arm and a leg. I want to make these things available to as many people as can get their hands on it. Obviously, the higher quality stuff is always going to be a little bit more expensive, but right now in the hobby, the highest quality stuff is pretty expensive. Our goal is to bring that down a little bit so that people like you who might not have the most amount of finances can get into the project just as well or just as easy. So for us to do that, that's going to require that our quantity goes up. For our price to go down, our quantity needs to go up. So this year, if you're patient with us, we're going to hold back a lot of high quality geckos so that next year we will have a ton of high quality geckos that we could sell at quality pricing. So we are going to be selling some geckos this year. Don't get me wrong. The business still needs to stay afloat, right? Like we need, and that's where super chats come in as well. The more money and stuff that we make from super chats and other revenue streams like Dubia roaches and ball pythons or whatever else we got going on, however else we're making finances, that will go into supporting the business. Since I'm doing this full time now, that'll go into supporting the business, my house where we're running this out of, my mortgage, all that stuff that takes up time, money, and space, so that we can bring you guys the best animals for the best price. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to answer Jordan's question. The vitamin mix that we use, Jordan. I am a little biased, guys, because in my research, I found what I would consider is the #1 way that the biggest breeders in the past supplemented their leopard gecko's diet. And it was with this, which is called it's a weird name, guys. Osteoform SA. I know it sounds like some kind of weird mad scientist generic code, but if you look, all it is calcium powder. And if you buy this from Amazon, it's probably like $20 for this bottle and another $20 for this bottle. This is vitamins. So you just saw calcium down there. This is vitamins. You take 3 scoops of this for every 1 scoop of this, and you create your own little mixture, and you just dust the food every single time you feed the geckos. We feed our geckos here 1 time a week. We feed them, oh no, sorry, now it's 2 times a week. 2 times a week we feed them mealworms. And that's what I was going to show you here. We have section A is this, and this row or column. So section A is 3 columns. Section B is this column right here, this column right here, and this column right here. That's what we're tackling today. And I'll show you how I go through every one of those tubs 2 times a week so that each gecko gets 2 fresh feedings a week with fresh vitamins a week. And water, water only needs to be changed once a week. So, you just do it once a week. And then substrate only needs to be changed usually once every 2 weeks or so. Or yeah, I would say maybe even every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how much that gecko is eating. So I'm going to be doing that tonight while answering your questions. So get your questions ready and I'll show you everything. May I know, what's your favorite feeder insect for your geckos and why? That's great. Our favorite feeder insect, again, is mealworms. And that ties into what I was mentioning a second ago, where we feed our geckos 2 times a week. We feed them mealworms 2 times a week. And that's all that we use here, guys. We just use mealworms for the babies all the way through adults. And it's perfect. Mealworms are not too fatty. They're lean. I tried feeding Dubia roaches to my geckos before because we have a Dubia roach colony here. All the geckos developed armpit fat. They all got really chunky, really heavy, and they all got really kind of, it's not aggressive, but they got strike happy. Does that make sense? Every single time I went into their tub, they were waiting for me to give them the cockroach because I used to feed it with tongs. Because if you let the cockroach go, the cockroach will find a place to hide, and then the geckos won't be able to get it. So I would feed the geckos with the tongs. Number 1, that takes a lot of time. Number 2, after a week or so of doing that, the geckos were so anxious to get that food that as soon as I pulled out their tub, they were literally like jumping out of the tub. They're like jumping at me to get the food, and there's nothing even there yet. I'm not even putting the food in front of their face yet. So back to the mealworms and why I love them. It doesn't create obesity in your animals. It's all they really need. The biggest breeders in the world feed strictly mealworms for the most part. Of course, you're going to find some breeders that don't, but I'm telling you guys, I know it seems weird, like, what? A gecko can just eat mealworms alone? One of the reasons why leopard geckos are so great. All they need is mealworms. They need their mixture that we just talked about a second ago of the calcium and vitamin powder 1 or 2 times a week, depending on how big the gecko is and how much it's eating. And that is it, guys. Simple, simple stuff. All right, let me see if I missed any questions here. The incubator that we use, let me show you real quick. We have a couple incubators that we use. Oh, snap. I think I can. Oh, yeah. We're in business now. I can kind of tripod this thing. So this is an incubator that my business partner and I built. It's an old wine cooler. You could also use a refrigerator. In the back, you can't see it, but there's a heat source. That heat source is on and attached to a thermostat so that it keeps the temperature in here at a constant. For us, this is a female incubating temperature. It keeps it constantly between 80 and 81 degrees. And as you see, I have extra thermostats everywhere in this thing, on every corner, on every shelf, so that I can tell what the temperature is everywhere inside of this incubator. And I also have a thermostat on the outside of the incubator so that if this room that it's in gets too hot, I can see that. I can see if it gets too hot. We also use Reptibators. This thing is called a Reptibator. You set the digital thermometer, but remember, it reads the temperature at the top. So it's set at 92 degrees at the top, but at the bottom where I have those little thermostat gauges, those thermostat gauges are actually only reading between 88 to 89 degrees. This is a Hovabator. You buy it from like tractor stores because they use it to incubate chicken eggs. Reptibators can be bought at your local pet store, Craigslist, OfferUp, all of those places, Facebook forums. Same thing with this. And yeah, so those are the 3 different style incubators that we use. So I hope that answered your question. Let me see the other question we have. How much do you feed per feeding for an adult? I will show you. It's about, so we feed each adult 2 times a week. The first time, if they eat all their worms by the next time, sorry, let me preface that. We feed on average 40 worms 2 times a week. So that's about 80 worms a week. If they eat all 40 of their worms the first time, I will give them another 40 later on in the week. But if they don't eat all 40 of their worms, then I might just leave whatever worms are left over until the next cycle. So every gecko gets a chance. I examine every gecko's tub 2 times a week through our organization system. If the gecko eats all of its worms, I give it more. If it doesn't eat all of its worms, I don't give it anything more. And that's about 40 each time. So experiment with your geckos and see if they eat it all or don't eat it all. Serena, what is up, Serena? Not sure. We were talking about Dubia roaches again because I was cleaning and feeding some Dubia roaches. I'm now getting to cleaning and feeding some geckos, so that's about it. Kevin, are those fresh? Okay, so yeah, Kevin, those mealworms, they look like they're not fresh, but they're from the refrigerator. Let me show you guys another benefit of why mealworms are so good and leopard geckos are so easy to take care of. When you're working on a larger scale like us, you need to store the mealworms at 50-degree temperature. When they're sitting at 50-degree temperature in your refrigerator, those mealworms will sleep for 3 months and you just pull them out whenever you need them. So if you're trying to save a buck, go to rainbowmealworms.com. I love rainbowmealworms.com. They are so honorable. Anytime something goes wrong with the order that's not their fault, they will return your money like no questions asked. It's crazy. So you go to rainbowmealworms.com. Let's say you buy 1,000 mealworms, but you only need to use 40 a week. You just put those mealworms in the fridge and they're good for 3 months. What is some pointers for new YouTube reptile channels? I actually want to do a video on how I've been growing this channel. There's a lot of topics to cover, Taz. There's a lot of topics to cover, Taz. What are some pointers that I can? So I would say first and foremost, content is king. You've probably heard that before, like in the business world, cash is king. But if you think about it, why are we all here today? Like, why are we tuning into this stream? Is because it gives us a place to interact and the content is here. So if you are producing content that is desirable, let me put it that way, desirable content, then that will help you grow your YouTube presence, your YouTube channel. Does that make sense? But email me, geekygecko@gmail.com. Anyone who has personal questions that you want me to go deeper into, how to start a YouTube channel and stuff. There's a lot of like in-depth topics to get into. I've learned a lot rising and falling and stressing myself out. And there have been times where I spent all night editing a video and then I got to go to work the next day. And just because I'm so like wanting to push myself to understand, but it does take time, guys. Email me, message me, Facebook or geekygecko@gmail.com, and I can help you get your channel started and give you some deeper pointers on how to get your videos viewed. And that's one of the main things. You can't just make a video, post it, and it's automatically going to get 100,000 views. To get in the eyes of the YouTuber, you need to get into the head of YouTube's algorithm, as they call it, YouTube's way of displaying your content. And there's certain tricks that you can do to do that, but it takes a little bit of time to explain it. So FR, he's awesome. Just be like him. Well, thank you so much. You should make a video about growing. I will definitely make a video about growing the channel. I'm waiting for draw my life content. What was that, Kevin? I'm waiting for draw my life content. Just be like him. Be open to talking to your subscribers. That's really king. That's why I like him. Thank you, Serena. Yeah. Honestly, guys, I mean, this is kind of my natural personality, the way, and that's the thing, right? Not everyone's going to like my personality, but some people will. So be yourself is probably one of the biggest pointers that I can give. And by me just being myself, it allows me to connect with other people who have similar perspectives, values, whatever, whatever desires, whatever the case may be. So really good point, Serena. Do you have any galaxy pied geckos? I do. Let me show you one. So guys, if you don't know what a galaxy is, it is it's also called a total eclipse. So it is a super snow. It has 2 copies of the snow gene. It has the eclipse gene. You can see its eyes are all black. And by doing so, whenever you combine the eclipse gene with the super snow genes, the feet become whitened. The tips of the nose, look at that nose right there. The nose becomes whitened, and the tips of the tail becomes whitened. And as you breed this gecko more and more down the line, you can get that white to go farther and farther up the body or the pattern of the animal, so that one day it starts stripping away all of those black little dots of the animal. It's like you're explaining how you get into what you're doing now. Yes, exactly. Make the one about how you care for newly hatched baby geckos. I will definitely do that, Serena. I put it on my list for sure. Looking forward to that vid for when I do breed. I don't know how to care for them. They're so tiny. What's your favorite leopard gecko morph? Well, let me show you real quick how we set up our little baby geckos. So actually, these 2 geckos were just born last night. These 2 geckos were just born last night. The essential needs of these geckos are simple. They need a humid hide to shed. They need a food source and a water source, and that is it. So where are these little guys right now? They haven't made it into their humid hide yet. And I know their humid hide looks kind of tall, but trust me, it's not. They'll get into it. They'll find a way in. What I normally do, I put the food bowl right next to the humid hide, and 9.9 times out of 10, they find their way up and into the humid hide. And so these are 2 babies. I think someone asked about availability. I was just mentioning a second ago, if you guys will be patient with us, our goal is to bring the best quality we can for you for the best price. For us to do that, our quantity needs to be higher. One of the tricks that you can do that so that you don't have to buy 1,000 geckos is breed your own stock and then hold it back. And that's what we've done. We've selectively kept every single high quality gecko that we wanted, and we put them into breeding. For example, this is all females here in this rack, guys. That's like 50 females that are going into breeding. Each one of those females, we're going to hold back a decent amount of their babies. So let's say 75% of their babies. So that next year, we can have 300 females going into breeding. So the difference between having 50 females and 300 females is that we will be able to provide high quality animals, the highest quality that we can provide, because I really have a keen eye for focusing on quality, don't get me wrong, but for the best price possible because we have so many. So if you guys will be patient with us, we are definitely going to sell some geckos this year. Don't get me wrong. Even these two, we might sell one or both of these guys, but we are going to be keeping back a ton of geckos. So getting back to how you care about these geckos, they need a humid hide. You cut a hole in the top of the humid hide and you put eco earth into the bottom. You give them a little mealworm dish with their vitamins and calcium, and you give them a little water dish, and that is it. So I'm gonna, and yes, they are so small and fragile, so you'll want to, like, as much as possible, sorry, I know that looked bad, but I'm really low here. It was very low impact. As much as possible, you'll want to not handle the geckos in the beginning stages of their life, at least for a couple weeks, and we really don't. I mean, I'm showing this to you guys. Other than that, I would not even be messing with these geckos. And now I need to get them to move to the other side of the tub so that I can put their humid hide back. But as long as you're careful and gentle with your hands, you'll be perfectly fine. They will be okay. Okay, so see, they both moved. I'm going to put this food bowl next to their humid hide so that they can climb up into it. And then they do need, let's see here. They do need a heat source, guys. So I'll show you, these geckos have been doing perfectly fine with no heat source. Why is that? Because we have this little room heater right here that we kick on. So during the day, I open my blinds and I close the vent, and this room gets up to 90 degrees in the day, which is the perfect temperature of digestion for these guys. At night, I kick on that heater and the room gets anywhere between 86 to 88. So constantly, these guys have a constant temperature anywhere between a low of like 82 to like a high of 90 throughout their day so that they can digest. Thank you, Chameleonis. Again, you are awesome, brother. Normally, I would recommend every gecko, especially if you don't have a room just for geckos, has a heat source. And this heat source will be set to 90 degrees. Now, you might say, Frank, why is your heat source set to 96 degrees? That is because when you... There's one of our most orange geckos, guys. Pretty cool. Male going into breeding next year. When you feel the heat from here, it's 95 degrees here, but by the time it gets through the bottom plastic of the tub to where the gecko is sitting and through the newspaper, it already dilutes some of that temperature. So you will need a heat gun, like one of those little guns that you shoot and it reads the temperature for you. You'll need one of those so that you can read the temperature of the surface of where the gecko is so that you can see what temperature it is. So wow, we're getting a lot of questions now. Let's see, they're so tiny. Yeah, they are really tiny. Jelly Bean is wonderful. I'm so happy with Jelly Bean. Babies will be available over the next couple months. We're going to be releasing selective babies, holding back a lot so that we can bring you guys the best quality next year for the best pricing. They are very tiny. Thank you again, Chameleon, so much, and everyone who's asking questions and the people who have donated. Again, anyone who donates today, going towards our reptile farm, guys. We want to build a interactive reptile farm where you can come and visit our facility and hold giant iguanas, interact with the genetics of leopard geckos, ball pythons, big snakes, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no problem. I mean, whenever you do, if you ever do, it's fine. Your participation here is so important to us, and so I'm so appreciative for that as well. So we sell our geckos on Morph Market. I have an account on Morph Market. If you guys don't know about Morph Market, I have 2 videos in my history about how to use Morph Market. You can use it to make genetic calculations. You can calculate what happens if I breed a Tremper albino to a snow albino. Like, it will tell you what calculations you can get. I have an in-depth video that explains all of that. And yes, I do have a website. Yep, geekygecko.creations.com. I'm starting to update that website more and more. It takes a lot longer to put photos of available animals on that website, but I just don't have any available animals yet. But as we hatch babies this year, we're scheduled to hatch dozens of babies over the next couple of months. And so some of those babies will be released, and I'll be posting it on Instagram, Facebook, making little YouTube announcements like this, my website. So if you just kind of if you email me and you're like, hey, Frank, I'm looking for a tangerine gecko, you got any available? Then that could be a good way to jump, I don't know if jump ahead of the line is the right phrase, but to kind of jump the gun a little bit, because now you're on my radar. You've already inquired and asked me, hey, I want a snow gecko. Hey, I want a tangerine gecko. Can you put me on the list, or whatever the case is? You know what I mean? And I'll try to work something out with you if I can. So geekygecko.creations.com. Yeah. We have Dubia roaches now. So if you want to start your own Dubia roach colony, very lucrative, very profitable. $20 to $50 now can literally make you thousands of dollars a month a year from now. So do your announcements, because I don't do social media. It's too stressful. But update. Yes. And also, Serena, I know you don't do social media. So anyone who doesn't do social media, if you email me, geekygecko.creations@gmail.com, or go to my website and send me an email through the contact form there. That is another way to kind of get on my radar as far as what morphs you're interested in. But again, we're going to be holding back probably a decent amount this year, so that next year we won't have a shortage. And if you want 5 geckos, we can sell you 5 geckos, or whatever the case is. Wow, Jim, that name looks so familiar. Jim Kirkman. Do I know you from somewhere, Jim? I appreciate that, man. That is crazy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm curious, how did you build that rack system? Another good question. The rack systems have taken shape and form over the years. I started with this rack system. It's just a shelf of plywood and these little 6-inch tall pieces of 1x3s. And I spaced them out, appropriately I think that's about like every 12 inches. And this is 4 feet. That's just one full strip of plywood, just cut from the store. You have them cut it for you at the store. It's going to take a little bit more detail. I want to make a video on it one day, but the best racks. Oh, actually, this is the better version. This is the best rack system that I could recommend for the lowest price. Now, as you can see, plywood kind of bends a little bit, so it's tough to work. Oh yeah, Jim, we did. I appreciate that so much. That's why that name looks familiar. Thank you. Oh man, your donation, crazy, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I don't know if you were here last night, Jim, but I'm gonna start doing more live streams, maybe even a nightly live stream. This is 2 nights in a row for me, just to provide an outlet for people to communicate, talk, have questions answered. As you can see, we are partnered with YouTube now, so that does allow us to receive your guys' gracious help and donations. So that is wonderful. Thank you so much, Jim, who, whoever is giving is helping the people that are not able to give. And so you guys are all contributing and doing so much, and I really appreciate it. So this is the design of the shelf that we use right now. It is... Oh man, guys, it's hard to explain because you can't even see what's going on here at the bottom. But basically, you use 2x3s to create the verticals. you use 1x3s to create these little horizontal arms that the shelf will sit on. And if you're doing a shelf that is like 4 feet long like this, you're going to need a middle divider because plywood bows in the middle a little bit. It's kind of like a weaker wood. Obviously, it's cheaper. You can also use melamine, 1/4 inch melamine, and 1/4 inch melamine will not bow that much. Yeah, don't worry, Sarita. I'm broke too. That's why I appreciate everything. Our goal, our dream with all the donations, again, guys, is to grow an interactive reptile farm / facility so that not only are we breeding and selling animals, but you can interact with animals and visit us here in Arizona, here on the West Coast, and interact with tegus, monitors, snakes, iguanas. You can come see the genetics lab of the leopard geckos and how we breed our geckos, how we combine our geckos, our ball pythons. I want to make an interactive reptile facility that people can come and visit. So here is the rack. Please forgive me. It's hard to explain right now, but I will definitely try to like do a video on it in the future. My business partner has actually started helping me build the racks now because I'm very burdened down with like all of the other care and everything like that for the animals. And he has started making this design where it's kind of similar to an ARS or Freedom Breeder rack where the tub slides in and slides out. And it's pretty cool. And it is on those little brackets right there like that. And we haven't done it yet, but we're going to put heat tape here. This room for now also has an ambient temperature of 85 degrees. So I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of countries in the world, and I got this idea from someone in the Philippines. There's a friend of mine in the Philippines that has leopard geckos, and they keep their leopard geckos year round without belly heat. They just keep them in a room that is anywhere between 82 degrees to 90 degrees throughout the day. Winter, summer, all year long. And so I've been experimenting with these guys because we had a shipment of heat tape that didn't come through for a long time. And so I was forced to come up with a different alternative as all these geckos are hatching. And so I was like, let me try the ambient temperature route. Let me try just giving the geckos a room temperature between 82 to 90 degrees throughout the day. Oh, we just changed these guys. We just changed their substrate, but I was going to show you how they are eating and pooping and thriving just fine in ambient temperature. So if you don't have the ability to set up like a heat source like this, or maybe it's a little confusing to you, setting it up in ambient temperature will work out perfectly fine for you. Between the temperature zone of 82 to 90, you want to give them that temperature zone throughout the day to bask, to absorb the heat in. All right, so let me see if I missed any more questions here. Look at WWR, Wiccan's Wild Reptiles. He just made a video similar to that. Yeah, Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles. He got a good reptile channel too. He's also very interactive with the community, and it's a great place to tune in and to learn. Is it easy to sell leopard geckos? So last year was my first year testing the market with leopard geckos. I had 6 leopard gecko babies that I sold last year. I posted them on Morph Market, and I'm like a nobody. I'm like just getting started in this hobby, right? So I don't have the big fancy account and all that like the biggest breeders do, but I posted them on Morph Market. Within 3 days, I had all 6 sold. Now, does that mean that I can do that year round? No. And that's where this year and next year is going to be the biggest test. And I will let you guys know if it's reliable or not to rely on leopard geckos for income. But I would always recommend just starting it as a hobby. And then if you have the desire to grow it into like a business or a company, then you can do that. But I would say in general, it's not always the easiest to sell an animal. But caveat to that, it is easy to sell dubia roaches. And so that's why I've been promoting these dubia roaches so much. Anyone who wants to start their own dubia roach colony, every pet store in the nation right now needs dubia roaches. Your local pet store needs dubia roaches. Your neighboring pet store needs dubia roaches. And there is thousands of dollars a month that can be made if you have a large enough collection of dubia roaches to where you can supply to local pet stores. So if you're looking to start your own dubia roach colony, geekygeckocreations.com or geekygeckocreations@gmail.com, message me. I can get a starter kit going for you guys, anywhere between $20 to $50, depending on how many females you want to start with. Don't touch it for a year. Let all of those babies grow up into adults, and you will have a colony of thousands of adults, thousands of them, 12 months from now. And then all thousands of those adults will be laying 30 babies a month. And think of that. What is 1,000 females multiplied by 30 babies a month? I think that's, 1,000 females, 30. That's 30,000 dubia roach babies. The going rate for medium dubia roaches, so if you let those babies grow up into mediums, is 15 cents per roach. So for every 10,000 medium roaches you sell, you are going to make approximately $1,500 for every 10,000 dubia roaches you sell. Now, I make it sound all fluffy and easy, right? Sometimes roaches make it, sometimes they don't. But I am telling you, they're easy to breed. They don't smell. They're inexpensive to maintain. And pet stores are always looking for a consistent, reliable dubia roach breeder in their area that can provide roaches for them. Because in their pet store, they sell it for way more than you sell it to them as a breeder. So when breeding with line-bred traits such as tangerine, how many babies actually come out as tangerine? No, that is not a dumb question. So tangerine is a line-bred trait. If you take a tangerine gecko, if you take an orange gecko, which is tangerine, and you breed it to a yellow gecko, the babies are all going to be variances of orange/yellow. Some babies are going to be more yellow. Some babies are going to be more orange. Some babies are going to be a perfect mix of yellow and orange. So I hope that makes sense for you. I will always support your business as long as you stay humane and don't become too big that some geckos don't. Oh, yes. Good point. And that's exactly why the method that we have now for cleaning and feeding our geckos as we grow is each gecko that I have in my entire collection gets my eyes on it at least, at minimum, 2 times a week, so that I take care of their food, water, and substrate at the beginning of the week and at the end of the week for every single gecko we have. That's currently the system that we have going on right now. So I appreciate that. Yeah, you don't want to get so big to where you aren't able to appropriately care for the animals, because then animals can get sick and get other healthy animals sick. So it can become a thing. So while there's a break of questions right now, I'm going to start pulling out geckos to clean, and I can kind of show you what we do. So the first 3 rows were just cleaned yesterday. Now we are going to clean row 4, 5, and 6, and I'm going to check the substrate, the food, and the water. And if any of that needs to be replaced, then it's going to get replaced. So this is the section of the video where I'm going to be moving around and going back and forth, since I have to go to the bathroom, wash the bowl, get new water, whatever the case is. So if you could be patient with me through that, after I come back every couple of tubs, I will check the questions to see what questions I missed. But which gecko do you love the most? Like any that you love to handle? So I would say Zeus is probably one of my favorite geckos to handle. He's like so calm. He's a big chunky monkey, but he's beautiful. He is a white and yellow leopard gecko. As you can see, white and yellow morph, it enhances the yellow and it enhances the coloration of the gecko. And he's just so calm and collected. And one thing leopard geckos do, whenever you touch their mouth like that, they lick test everything. That's why you have to be careful when you keep them on sand, because they'll constantly be licking up the sand. And if you don't have a basking spot of like 100 to 105, they won't digest the sand that they're licking up so properly, and it will back up in their system and create impactions that could potentially lead to death. So if I had a tangerine breeding pair, all babies would come out as tangerine. Correct. They would all come out as tangerine. If you got a tangerine dad and a tangerine mom, all babies will come out variations of tangerine. Some babies will be more tangerine. Other babies will be less tangerine. Some babies will be the exact same tangerine as the parents. It's all about variation at that point. Slight variation in, in the genetics of the animal, the outcome. Yeah, let me, so if you're looking to ship reptiles, there's a couple of reptile companies that help you ship out your reptile overnight to somebody's location. So the reptile company that we mainly use here is Reptiles Express, but there's also Reptiles to You, and add it to the chat if there's another one, but there's another company in America. There's like 3 main companies. You go to their website and you open up an account with them. As a breeder, when you have an account with them, then you can buy supplies. So I was going to show it, but it's kind of buried under some stuff. So let me bring it over there and show you. The supplies you buy are boxes, styrofoam, and these little cups, which, by the way, I'm starting to get these cups now from the dollar store, because you could get the same size cups, 5 for $1, whereas if you go to Reptiles Express, they sell it to you like 2 for $1. So yeah, so shipping reptiles sounds kind of crazy, but it is a perfectly safe method, with the exception that sometimes bad things happen. If you've been watching reptile videos lately, there's actually been a lot of bad things that have been happening to reptiles getting stuck in transit because of COVID and because of storms. I'm sure you guys know that there's a lot of storms that are hitting the East Coast right now. And when you use one of these companies to ship a reptile overnight, they use FedEx. And FedEx has 2 or 3 main locations in the United States that every package has to go through before it heads to their destination. So let's say you live in New York. I live in Arizona. I'm on the West Coast. I ship you an animal. It has to stop in Memphis, Tennessee, where FedEx's hub is, before getting shipped to the FedEx hub in New York. That being said, some packages have been getting stuck in transit when normally they don't get stuck. It's just because of COVID and because of weather. Some crazy stuff is happening. As a breeder, the best thing that you can do is to look at the weather forecast. And if there's a storm that is scheduled to hit, don't ship the geckos until the storm passes. So other than that, there's a little bit more detail we can get in as far as how to package up, the animals and stuff like that. But you basically package them up in little plastic containers, stuff the box with newspaper so the geckos don't move around. You buy a shipping label from Reptiles Express or Reptiles to You, whatever company you use, and then you take it to your local FedEx hub that allows for animal drop-offs. Guys, this is important. Not every FedEx location allows for animal drop-offs. The way that you find your FedEx location that allows for animal drop-offs is you go to Reptiles Express's website and it says, locate a reptile hub. You need to find a reptile hub, an animal-approved hub. For me, that hub is in Tempe, Arizona. I live in Gilbert, Arizona. It's a little bit of a drive. It's 25 minutes to get to my closest hub, but it's the only option I have. I mean, you have other options, like you could have drivers pick up the package from your house and then bring it to the Tempe, Arizona location. But personally, I like to drop my packages off because I want it going through as little hands as possible, if that makes sense. Which is also why right now, if I was to ship any reptile right now, I won't ship it to somebody's door, because here's what happens. When FedEx is running smoothly and okay, that's perfectly fine. It will go from me to the FedEx hub in your state, and then the FedEx hub in your state will dispatch a driver to deliver to your front door, usually by 10 o'clock in the morning. But because of COVID and delays and weather right now, everything is pushed back so crazy. Some people are literally not getting their packages until the end of the day or a few days later. So the only way that I would ship reptiles at this current time, and I would have to monitor to make sure there's no storms or anything like that, but the only way that I would ship reptiles at this current time is what's called hub to hub. I drop it off in Tempe, Arizona, and then FedEx brings the package to your reptile hub in New York. Let's say you're located in New York, and you as the customer have to go pick it up from your local hub, whichever reptile approved hub is closest to you. I will let you know what hub that is, because you go to reptileexpress.com and they tell you what hub is closest to you. But as the breeder, I take that responsibility, of course, and I let you know, hey, look, this is where your reptile is going to be. This is where you need to pick it up. It will be there at 9 o'clock in the morning as soon as the doors open. If you don't get there until 6 o'clock in the evening when you get off of work, that is okay, because at least the package is in a temperature-controlled environment. But if I send the package to your door, and let's say it's really, really cold, and the truck driver is behind or takes his time or makes a mistake, and that package is sitting on the truck, in the back of his truck, there is no temperature control in the back of his truck. So those packages can get really, really hot or really, really cold really, really easily. But when it's at the hub, it stays a consistent 70 to 75 degrees, and that's perfect. That's what you want, So, Jim, I hope I explained that okay. There's a lot of other details I can get into about shipping, and I know that it's a topic that people want to know about because it's a scary topic. But anyone who has deeper questions about shipping, email me, geekygeckocreations@gmail.com, or message me on Facebook, and I can answer your questions further. But that's kind of the process of how shipping goes. So let me know if I answered that question okay for you, or if you have more questions on that. Go Herping just made a video on that as well. Reptile supplies, maybe they have some, I think. Ship your reptiles, yep. Overran on Eco Earth, and he's done great on it. I plan to switch into Bioactive setup. Bioactive is great. Yeah, Go Herping is another reptile channel. He's a nice young man. He's not a kid anymore. He's a nice young man. I've watched his channel a lot. So Go Herping if you want to check out another reptile channel on YouTube. Cody Smith, what's up, broski? I see you're still on. Yes, what is going on, Cody? Go Herping isn't as credible. Yeah, so there's, the funny thing about YouTubers and about YouTube in general, there's always going to be people that like what you're doing and people that don't like what you're doing. Sometimes your content is going to be geared towards a specific audience and other people won't typically like it, So I try to leave my personal thoughts and opinions about someone's channel out as much as possible, but just to judge just their general level of information that they put out and stuff like that. I have not watched Go Herping's channel in a long time, but when I was first getting into reptiles, I remember seeing his channel and I was really amazed at how well this young kid at the time, teenager, was doing. And I know nothing about him personally, so I don't know his exact motives and stuff, but to me, he seems to care for the animals. He rehabilitates animals and then, resells them. And that's kind of his deal, his spiel. We like to focus on breeding over here. So I'm not necessarily taking in a lot of animals that need to be rehabilitated and then reselling them. That's what Go Herping does. We like to focus on breeding, breeding a current stock of animals that are already healthy, monitored. We know the genetics of them. That's kind of our deal and what we like to focus on. So the Gecko Guru, I will take that, Cody Smith. I appreciate that comment right there. No, I know a lot, laugh out loud, but he's got a lot of reptile experience with shipping supplies. Yeah, there are reptile videos out there. I have not made one yet where they will show you step by step how to actually package up a reptile. And I know it's super scary, guys. So hit me up if you got any questions about how to ship a reptile. I will call you over the phone or walk you through videos that I know and answer any questions you have. It's just hard to do it in a video setting like this when I need to be like cleaning the reptiles and I don't have time to like bust open a package and do all of that kind of stuff. So please forgive me for that. But if you're serious about shipping an animal, I'm serious about helping you, and I will call you if need be. Just give me an email or shoot me an email. The best Lino owner I know. Oh, thank you, Serena. That's so nice. Jim Kirkman, you're welcome, Jim. I hope that helped. Sorry I didn't get to do a demonstration. So does this actually save? This does save as a video, so you can watch it back for sure. Absolutely. And we've covered a lot of topics today so far, like Dubia roaches and the profitability of those. If anybody has a desire to start a Dubia roach colony, we could sell you a cheap like $20 to $50 colony, and within like a year, you could be making hundreds or thousands of dollars a month with Dubia roaches. If you do it right. I mean, pet stores are always needing those. It's a nice little hustle. They're always looking for a Dubia roach supplier in your local area, you know. Yeah, I did have a live last night too. So thank you, Serena, for mentioning that. Do you have any leopard geckos for sale? At the moment, Jordan, I have at the moment I have all of this is Coleonyx geckos. So if you don't know what Coleonyx geckos is, let me show you. They are native here to Arizona, and I've been breeding these. They're actually a cousin of the leopard gecko. Leopard gecko's scientific name means eyelid gecko because not every gecko has eyelids, right? If you look at the Gecko gecko, the Gecko gecko is a day gecko. Day geckos do not have eyelids, but eyelid geckos do. And Coleonyx, that's as big as they get. They only get as big as like a baby or juvenile leopard gecko. But Coleonyx geckos are like a distant cousin of the leopard gecko. Leopard geckos are from the Middle East, and Coleonyx geckos are here from West America / Mexico area. So all of those are Coleonyx geckos. These are leopard gecko babies. So right now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We have 14 leopard gecko babies just now that have hatched. Some of those I will be going through and hand picking out some of the babies that we're going to sell. Any babies we sell, we're going to post up on Instagram and Facebook. And then also, like Serena was saying, sometimes people are not on Instagram or Facebook too much. So if I know you personally, like if you send me a message, like an email that says, hey, my email is geekygeckocreations@gmail.com. If you send me an email that says, hey, I'm looking for a tangerine gecko. Do you have any for sale at the moment? I will absolutely message you back with pictures and anything that I do have for sale. So that's another way to get to us. Yeah, you can't have Dubia. Yeah, you can't have those in Florida. That's right. I have a rack coming in. I will get Dubia from you. Absolutely, Thurman. Yeah, for sure. If you want to start your own Dubia roach colony, oh man, so lucrative, guys. Pet stores will gobble that up from you. I sold out of baby and medium-sized Dubia. I don't have enough to supply to people in any of... I don't have enough to supply to one pet store. And I got like 10 pet stores hitting me up saying that they want Dubia roaches. That's how bad the nation needs Dubia roaches. If you're willing to put in about $50 and about 1 year's worth of time, that will allow you to grow a colony of thousands of Dubia roach breeders, and you could literally be making hundreds or thousands of dollars per month selling Dubia roaches to your local pet shops. It's a good little hustle. You can build up money that way to invest into animals to breed and stuff. So does this actually... Yeah, it does save as a video. You can see the one from last night. What does it mean if my gecko has bumps under its chin? Maybe you could send me a picture. Could be a couple of things. If the gecko got cut or bit by another gecko, it could be an infection. It could be tumors. Lemon frost geckos are known for developing tumors sometimes in their animals, so it depends on the morph. That's the only morph that develops tumors. Maybe I missed it, but what would a pet store pay for them? So I'm not talking about Petco or Petco or PetSmart, like those big chain brands, but your local reptile pet stores will pay about 5 to 10 cents for every small dubia roach, 15 to 20 cents for every medium dubia roach, and 20 to 25 cents for every large dubia roach. So what I sold this past week was mediums. I sold the lady 8,000 mediums at a bulk rate of 15 cents per roach, and it came out to $1,200. But she bought up all the babies that I had because I've been growing this collection. So my collection was mainly like roaches that were not breeders. Now all of these bins, now I have 7 bins behind me. They're all breeders now. So I'm expecting way more than 8,000 babies over the next couple months. But that's just an example. 10,000 babies at 15 cents per baby is going to be worth $1,500. And if you have 1,000 female dubia roaches and each of those females lay 30 babies for you every month, that's 30,000 dubia roach babies every month. So that's almost $5,000 a month that you have in value of dubia roaches if you can provide 30,000 roaches a month to pet stores. So it takes some time to get up there, right? But hey, we got nothing but time in this life, right? So if you spend $50 now and invest in like a few dozen females and you just let it grow, don't touch it for the next year. Don't touch it for a year and a half, 2 years, however long you want to let it grow for. Let it grow. And eventually you're going to get to the point where you have thousands of dubia roach females breeding for you. And then you're able to sift out the babies and create, some income from that. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. 5 to 10 cents for smalls. 15 to 20 cents for mediums, and 20 to 25 cents for larges. Hello, sir. I'm from the Philippines. My mom's Filipino. How do I say? Salamat. Magandang umaga is good morning. No, I'm trying to think of how to say hello. I don't know why. Kamusta from the Philippines. That's hello in Filipino. I just want to ask how to reproduce a raptor. So a raptor leopard gecko is Eclipse and Tremper albino. So all you need to produce a raptor is Eclipse and Tremper albino. I start breeding my male ones and haven't had to buy since. Yeah, that's a good way, Cody. Eclipse and Tremper albino are recessive, which means both parents need to have the Eclipse gene and the Tremper albino gene to create raptor babies. So I hope that makes sense. I already have a Tremper Eclipse, so that is a raptor. And he was mated to a snow Tremper head eclipse. Will you produce a raptor? You will produce 50% raptors. Let me do my odds there. Yeah, so a Tremper to Tremper is 100%. 100% of the babies are going to be Tremper. But because one gecko is a visual eclipse and one gecko is a het eclipse, whenever you go visual to het, 50% of the babies inherit the visual, 50% of the babies display the visual gene. So 50% of your babies are going to be Tremper albino, visual eclipse, which means they're going to be raptors. You're going to get 50% raptors and 50% that are het raptors. You got it. What about eggs? Since we're in season, unless you have discussed, I'll watch later and see it. Yeah, so I have 2 recent videos on eggs in my video list, if you check it out. One of them is, how long do eggs take to hatch? And it talks about how to incubate for male geckos, how to incubate for female geckos. The other video is, are my eggs fertile? And it shows how we candle or flashlight eggs to see if it is fertile. And then if you go way back into my videos, I have an incubation video. It's like a 40-minute incubation video, and it talks about everything regarding incubation and how to set that up. I love these lives, man. I'm just hanging with the gecko. Nice. You getting a workout in? Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do, guys. So I hope you can be patient with me, but I want to provide a platform where people can interact and talk, as well as what I can get some chores done around the gecko room that I need to. So I'm going to be cleaning some geckos here at the same time, answering answering your guys' questions. So I'll try to keep an eye here on the chat, and you guys let me know if I'm missing any questions or whatnot. So let's see here. Actually, maybe I can align this a different way. This way you can kind of see what I am doing. So this gecko needs the full treatment. It needs the substrate changed. It needs new water. It needs food. So what I'm going to do, I have a little tub off to the side right here. I put the gecko in that tub off to the side. I put his humid hide there. And then, let's see. And then I'm going to change the substrate. So his bowl does not have any poop in it. And this was just cleaned last week. So since his bowl does not have any poop in it, I don't need to wash it. If it had poop in it, I would wash it. Water bowls, they always get washed and rinsed. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And this tub always gets washed and rinsed. So I'm going to ask for your guys' help here, because if I'm not able to answer a question, maybe someone in the community who has the answer, you could answer the question while I'm going back and forth cleaning the gecko's tub and whatnot. So I'll be right back with some fresh water. All right, so we got the water. There's also another quicker way to do this, which is if you just have extra water and food bowls off to the side, you could kind of do everyone all at once. But I don't know if I have enough spare water bowls right now. I would need, let's see, looking at the rack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 22 plus another. I would need like 33 water dishes, and I don't think I have 33 clean water dishes. So I'm just going to go back and forth here. But I take the old newspaper, dump it in the trash upside down. Kind of, it's hard for you to see what I was doing, but there we go. Kind of bang out any of the stuff. And then I take it to my bathtub and just rinse it with hot water, and then I'll put new newspaper in it. And then like I have a towel chair off to the side that I can like dry my hands with. So I'm going to keep tuning into the questions here. Please let me know if you have any questions. That paper say Lutong Bahai, which means home cook. Nice. Thanks for that. That's cool that we're getting a lot of love from the Philippines for leopard geckos. And I can really appreciate that. My mom is Filipino, so I think it's so cool how we are able to interact with you guys and, you know, just be an interracial community here. So we're going to give some new food. Oh, I dumped a little bit more than I wanted to. That is a little bit more than 40 worms. I usually give about 75% of that, which would be like 40 to 50 worms at the beginning of the week. And then I will check back with the gecko about 3 to 4 days later. Everyone gets cleaned and fed 2 times a week. If the gecko eats all its worms, I'll give it another batch like this. If it didn't eat all its worms, I will leave it until the next cycle. So we check each of these geckos every 3 to 4 days. So 2 times a week they get checked, and then the next week 2 times a week, back to back to back to back to back. Here's our little vitamin mix. And that's about as much vitamin powder as I will put in the vitamin mix. The water is ready. And guess what, guys? Well, actually, I need to check for humidity. But this tub looks pretty moist already, so I'm not even going to spray any new water in here. And Zeus is ready to rock and roll and go back into the rack for another 3 to 4 days, and then we'll check on him in 3 to 4 days. All right, here is the tangerine, one of the tangerines that started it all for us. This is Skittles. The reason I named him Skittles is because it might be hard to see, but he has purple coloration, green coloration, nice orange coloration. And I combined him with a pure deep orange gecko, and that's where we got our entire line of geckos from right now, is from Skittles and from his wifey, Sugar, and they created a really cool, unique line of tangerines for us that we might call calamansi or something like that, to allude to the fact that it's a bright green / bright orange line. His son's not up for cleaning today, but there's his son. I just wanted to show his son off. His son has bred to a lot. Yeah, you can see how bright his son is. His son has bred to a lot of geckos for us this season because his son is his son is currently the brightest breeder that we have. But there's another one that's coming up that's even more orange than this guy. He's just not breeding size yet. So that's what you do with tangerines, guys. Because they are line bred genes, you want to hold back the best ones, or as many as you can, to continue expounding upon that genetic line. Hope that makes sense. All right, so his humid hide does not need water as well. He does need fresh water, and he did not poop in his food bowl, so that's good. So that means that we just need to give him new food, but I will wash this out. And I like having a designation that I can kind of like put all the clean stuff in while I am cleaning up the dirty stuff. So when you use the newspaper method, all the poo and stuff is going to be usually on the top, and then you just flip it upside down so that it keeps all the poo like downsized, and then you kind of just tap, tap, tap all that poo, dump it, and then I'll take it over to the tub, and I will rinse and like hand squeegee out all of the poo that is left. So my bad, I had to get the wood out to build. Yeah, that's right. That's what you got to do. Get the wood for building. So if you guys have questions while I'm doing this, I'm going to check the chat back and forth as well. So now that you have a freshly washed tub, I actually leave a little bit of water in there. It just creates like a little bit of moisture naturally for the animals. I'll put a new piece of newspaper there. New piece of newspaper. When I go behind the camera, is it harder to hear me? Because my mic is facing a certain way, so let me know. What calcium again? My bad, get the one. Let me show you, Jay. This stuff is readily available on Amazon. Osteoform SA. This is calcium. You'll mix 1 scoop of this with every 3 scoops of this. And this is the top mix that the biggest breeders in the world, from Ron Tremper to Suburban Geckos to, you know, I would imagine, who else was it? Sassleback Reptiles. A lot of the biggest breeders use this combination. Osteoform SA, and type in Vionate for pets on Amazon, and you will find both of these. It's going to cost you a little bit. Each of these is like 20 bucks. But I kid you not, if you only have a couple geckos, this will last you a lifetime. And if you have a lot of geckos, this will still last you a year or longer. It's well worth the investment. All right, so we're going to put the humid hide there. Now let me show you the amount of worms that we do. So about that many worms 2 times a week. That's about 40 worms, I want to say. 2 times a week. If we come back later this week and he ate all these, I will give him a fresh batch of the exact same amount. If he didn't, then I might just give him nothing, or I might give him a little bit. Also, I got a 128 quart deli cup. What would be a good use for them? 128 quart deli cup. Can you explain that, Cody? How much they cost? Are you wondering about the deli cup? I'm just a little confused. If you can just explain that, I will get that answered for you. Fresh water. They're always so cute. All right, Skittles. He's another boy that I like handling a lot. He is so calm. As leopard geckos get older, all of their colors will fade. But when I first got him, you could check out some of my original videos. He was so cool, so bright. And you can see it in his babies now too, so. No, all good. What is your favorite albino, Tremper, Bell, or Rainwater? That is a good question, Jim. So Tremper is the most common albino, and it produces some of the most beautiful, beautiful combinations of like white and yellow, Tremper, tangerines. But the Bell albino gene produces a little bit brighter of a line of tangerine when combined with the white and yellow gene. It's kind of just about what you're going for. If you want to go for a deeper orange color, the Tremper is probably better. If you want to go for a brighter orange color, the Bell is probably better. Yeah, it's hard for me to pick one, but honestly, I don't have a lot of Bell here in my collection. I might one day, but the Bell and the Tremper colors are so close that you know, it takes a lot of money and investment to buy into projects. So that's why I chose to focus on the Tremper project. But the Bell projects that I have seen, they are amazing. So I would say Tremper is my favorite first, since that's the one that I work with and have chosen to pursue. But Bell would be my second for sure. The deli cup is a huge one. I'll email you a photo. And the calcium and vitamin, what is the cost of those? The cost of the calcium and vitamin is $20 each. So it's going to cost you, with tax and shipping and everything like that, about $50 to get both of those. But like I said, that will last you a lifetime. Okay, guys, here is a really cool project we are working on. Whenever you put the Eclipse gene into any genetic morph, it lightens the coloration of the animal. So whenever you mix Eclipse with Tangerine, you're going to get animals that are a little bit more yellowish orange. What we are attempting to do here is to get the most brightest and richest colored orange gecko with red eyes. And you can see that this is one of our babies that has red eyes. It's hard to see in the photo, but this is an Eclipse, and you can see that it has decent coloration of orange to it. So we are using this gecko to produce Eclipse Tremper albinos, which will be red-eyed tangerine Tremper albinos. That's the goal with this. So $21 for osteoform, $14 for violet. Yep, so that's good. That's even better than I expected. It's really not bad, and it will last you forever. Let's see if I can get an eye shot. So yeah, I think I'm going to name this one Ruby, even though it's a male, because he has those ruby red eyes, or maybe Charmander or something. He's pioneering a very special project for us. Let's see how his humid hide is doing. His humid hide is okay, but I am going to just hit it with a splash of moisture. And that's it. They don't need much. I mean, this was already wet. Otherwise, it would have taken me longer to spray it. So I'm just going to get them new water. You can see what happens if they don't eat all their food. It dries out. As long as there's no poo in here, we're just going to dump it and then put new food in for him. So each of the geckos, and because he did not eat all of his food last time, I'm only going to give him a little bit less this time. So all the clean stuff goes there. I'm going to give him some new fresh water here. Now, maybe you guys can chime in about this, but the only time I ever see my geckos actually drinking the water is when I first give them fresh water. So by doing it 2 times a week for them like this, it gives them a chance to get fresh water 2 times a week. But geckos will mainly, a lot of reptiles in general, mainly get their water content from the food they eat. Not every reptile, but a lot of them. What genetics haven't been tried to mix? Charmeleon, I like that. So, gecko genetics that haven't been mixed. We are working with, let's see. I'm trying to think of newer genetics. So, there's this brand new genetic by Gecko Boa called the Cypher gene, but there's a lot that needs to be discovered about it. It's not really anything too crazy right now. It doesn't, so far, no crazy combinations have been made with it that I have seen. So, the best projects to pursue right now, I would say, are the classic tangerine and trying to get an all red-eyed animal that is red or orange body. That's a main project. That really hasn't been done. That's what's so exciting about this guy, is that most tangerines that are also Eclipse are very, and albino are very light in coloration. If you could get a dark coloration one, it's going to take some years of selective line breeding to accomplish that. So that's what we're working on. I don't know your guys' personal thoughts or feelings about it, but you know me, I like to be transparent and vulnerable. We are working, let me show here. Now, in Asia, there is no problem with the lemon frost gene. People love to experiment with it and work with it, even though it is known to produce tumors and has some problems. In America, it's kind of frowned upon a little bit, but you know, I always love to be transparent with people in the projects we're working. This is a special project we're working on, along with a couple other breeders in the United States. We are trying to do our best to redeem the lemon frost gene so that it does not produce tumors, or it produces them on such a minor level that's not even noticeable. There's been a lot of scientific, or there's been some scientific research and studies that have been done, but a lot more needs to be done. There is a gecko breeder in the hobby that we purchased 3 of these males from, and that gecko breeder has seen amazing results for geckos that are years old, showing no signs of tumors. And the way that he has done that is by taking the genetics of the lemon frost gene and outcrossing it to subspecies lines. So I would say that that is another big project in the hobby. There are 3 main subspecies that people work with in the leopard gecko community. Afghanicus is one of them. It's a dark yellow and black and bold gecko. This is the Afghanicus gecko. It is different than your traditional macularis, which is called the common leopard gecko. So when you mix this with the common leopard gecko, it cleans up the bloodline. It freshens up the bloodline. It adds new, fresh DNA to the bloodline. This is the Turkmenicus. This is the Turkmenicus gecko. You can see it looks very snow-like in appearance. It also is a separate species / subspecies of leopard gecko. They can breed with the macularis, and that's what this lemon frost is up here. It is 3 generations deep into this bloodline. So this lemon frost right here is, these lemon frosts right here are 87% Turkmenicus and only 15%, this one's shedding, 15% macularis, but they're showing no signs of tumors or anything like that 3 generations deep into this experimentation / dilution project. We are trying to dilute out the macularis blood so that through the subspecies bloodlines, we can eliminate out completely or mostly those tumor-like cellular problems. So this is another one. This is actually not that great of an example, but this I think will be. Here we go. This is another subspecies called the fasciolatus. I think there's a better female here for display. Whoa. Water's spilling a lot. I usually don't like when the water spills too much, but it should evaporate a decent amount in here. So the fasciolatus is similar to the Turkmenicus, except it's classified as a different subspecies. Between those 3 subspecies, there is a lot of genetic diversity and work that we could do with those bloodlines to create fresh DNA to put into the macularis bloodline to clean up any problematic or known problematic issues that exist. So I'm open to any genetics. I want to discover new genetics. Yeah, you know, sometimes genetics randomly pop up. There hasn't been any new genetics for a long time in leopard geckos. But what is new, what we can do is take the pure species, the Afghanicus, the fasciolatus, the Turkmenicus, and start combining that into the macularis line so that we could do things that's never been done before. So can I use either side of the heat tape? Yes, you can. That's how we did every single one of these racks. As you can see, that's actually, so all of these racks are snaked, right? It's snaked from the bottom to the shelf, up, 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 up. It's one continuous piece. So on this shelf right here, the plastic side is exposed, or the top side is exposed. But on this shelf right here, all the tubs are sitting on the other side. So yes, you can use either side of the heat tape. What, heat tape or? Are you wondering about where you can get heat tape? So my favorite place to get the heat tape is the Bean Farm. But if you guys need heat tape, hit me up, geekygecko@gmail.com. We have a large bulk order of heat tape that's actually sitting in my living room right now. And I just need to talk to my business partner about whether we want to pay that off or send it back to the distributor, because we were waiting on our order and it was taking a little bit of time. And so we wound up finding, placing another order. And then out of nowhere, they just shipped the order to us. So now it's just sitting in my living room. But if we don't pay for it, then obviously I need to ship it back. So I just need to decide on that. But I told my business partner, if we get enough people interested in buying heat tape, that we can pay for it and then just, sell whatever we don't need. So I'm in the middle of, oh, nice. Yeah. The Pure Leos. Oh, where can you get Pure Leos? So we work with all three species, Afghanicus, Fasciolatus, Turkmenicus. If you guys have need for any of those, let me know. We're going to be building up our collection over the years so that the hobby always has pure species to breed into the Macularis bloodline for all of their fresh and new projects. But Gecko Boa, Suburban Geckos, and Geckos, etc., all three of those companies sell pure species as well. Gecko Boa, Suburban Geckos, and Geckos, etc. Yeah. Need space for the babies. So Zarita, did that kind of answer your question about how the heat tape is set up, or do you need to see a little bit more? All right, we're going to say bye to Ruby, a.k.a. Charizard, Charmander, Charmeleon. Here in our country, pH, it's always hot, but it gets so cold when it rains 3 days straight. Yeah, that can become a problem. Getting my heat tape from you, and I want some of the pure geckos from you as well. Okay, yeah. So this is our first year breeding the pure geckos, Cody. We are supposed to be hatching out babies this year. You never know what happens, right? You can't bank on the babies until they come. But stay tuned. If you do want to get on the list for any type of gecko, anyone who wants to can just email me and I'll put you guys on a list for like whenever we get tangerines or whenever we get fasciolatus, and therefore I can hit you up whenever we have those available, just in case you happen to like miss my social media post or something, Hope that makes sense. All right, Charmeleon's going away. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate that. That'll help a lot. I think you've heard me give the spiel that, this is kind of a growth year for us. I'm going to be interacting with the community as much as possible. As far as sales, we're actually going to be holding back a lot of geckos this year. We will be selling a lot, but we do want to hold back a significant amount so that next year you could have as many as you want, right? You want to buy 10 geckos, you could buy 10 because we'll have that many, if that makes sense. And that's also how you can grow your own collection. This whole, I think I just lost connection there, but this whole collection was basically grown from just a couple geckos. We have about 50 tangerines now. All of the tangerines we have were grown from 2 original geckos. I don't know if we have 50 tangerines. It might be like 30, but they were grown from 2 original geckos, a father and a mother. And we bred those 2 together and held back their babies for 3 years in a row. Bred for males 1 year, females another year. Well, actually, we bred for females the first year, males the second year, and we're breeding for females again now the third year, if you want to do it that way. So you produce in-house your own males and females so that you don't have to go out and buy 20 high-quality geckos. You just buy 2. Buy 1 high-quality male, 1 high-quality female, and then over the course of 2 years, gender sex those babies that you hatch in breeding to be female the first year, male the second year, and then you will have a perfect blend of males and females going into your breeding collection. And you didn't even have to buy it. You bred it all in-house. So it's hard to pick up this guy's color, but he is always makes a mess with everything. He's our most orange gecko. Maybe this guy will be Charmander, and the other one will be Charmeleon. But he is not old enough to breed yet, but he is our most orange gecko. Also the gecko that has the deepest carrot tail. So he's going to be really great for us. Oh, and then what I do too is if they have little poos and stuff that are in here, I will scoop out the poo and throw it away. So he's going to need some new water. Did he poop in his food bowl? I can actually see what I believe is some poo here. So this is a good example of what I'll do. I will dump this and then rinse it. Any gecko that poos in their food bowl, I will rinse that food bowl when I come across it. And then what I do is nowadays these paper towels, they break down into these little sections, and I will rip 1, 2, sometimes 3 or sometimes 4 sections like that. I will stick it in the lid like this and pull out like a tissue 1 little paper towel at a time and just wipe the inside so that when I put fresh food in there, it's dry. Now, he did not eat all of his food last time, so I did not give him much this time. Remember, if they eat everything, give them the same amount the next time or more. If they don't eat everything, no point in giving them more if they're not going to eat it. Okay, no problems, Arita. You can always ask me more questions in the future. I'm going to be doing live streams like every night or every couple nights. At least that's what I'm going to be trying to do here. And worst case scenario, you guys can always email me any personal questions you have, geekygeckocreations@gmail.com, or message me on Facebook or Instagram. And I'll get you your questions answered, or we can have a phone call. I can call you and help you through everything. So is it okay to put 2 females with the same age in one tub? Yes, that is okay. I keep all of my geckos in separate tubs, but in the future, as we continue to expand, we will probably set up larger tubs that have like 1 male and maybe like 3 or 4 females in the tub. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet, but I know other leopard gecko breeders that do that. So that will probably be a system we entertain. What is up, Luna? If you guys don't know who Luna is, give him a follow, a shout out. That's an OG right there in the game. He's a great guy that we actually had a live stream with. He is also so nice, so interactive, so informative, hands-on, do it yourself. I'll definitely promote him. He's a great guy. What up, Frank? Your butt looked better in those shorts. Oh, snap. You know what? I was watching that video back. I don't know if you're being serious or joking, but I was watching that video back and then showing it, and I was like, man, I showed my butt a lot in that video yesterday. So I'm going to go clean this, rinse it off, and I'll be back. Drop those questions in the chat if you do. Luna Geckos is also able to answer any questions because he's an experienced breeder and keeper. So if he sees your question in the chat and I'm gone and he's here, I'm sure he'll feel free to touch on it. Big G, that's his name. And also check out his channel, Luna Gecko's YouTube channel, Facebook, and Instagram. So clean water is going to go in the clean tub. momentarily while I dump this. And I just like rinsing it when I get the chance. So I'm going to go rinse this, and then I'll come back and answer your questions. All right. Let's see what I missed. How do I become as reputable? So being honest, if you mean being reputable in this industry, to me, my way of becoming quote unquote reputable is being upfront, honest, vulnerable, and sincere with people. Everyone's going to have their own personalities, right? Some people have a more aggressive personality. Some people have a more bubbly personality. Some people have a more mellow personality. Your personality is okay. Be who you are. Be who you are. Be sincere. And if you are someone who comes off as sincere as well as caring about the animals, I think that is one of the best ways to gain a good reputation in this hobby. Yeah, as a breeder. So be yourself, Cody. If there's something that you enjoy, most likely someone else enjoys that. For example, I enjoy leopard geckos, and I also enjoy teaching and sharing and learning, and I enjoy a community atmosphere. And so, as you can see, everyone that's been tuning in tonight, they must on some level enjoy the same things. So go after the things that you enjoy, right? Maybe someone doesn't like the community thing, they just like to just make videos, then just be a video maker. That's fine. But I would just say the number one thing is, for me at least, is being willing to spend time and answer people's questions, being vulnerable, and sincere, in the hobby. I hope that answered the question. And all right, fresh water. So I think this is going to be Charmander officially, guys. And his brother with the ruby red eyes will be Charmeleon. I like that. And then one of their babies in the future will be Charizard. That's our next big project, guys. Growing geckos with wings. So if you have any geckos that are het for winged creature, let me know. I'll get those off of you. Just kidding. But that'd be pretty cool. So this is another nice little baby. This was the last male baby that we hatched last year, and it was actually the lightest colored baby. And let me speak to this real quick. When you hatch babies, they are most likely going to be a light yellowish orange when they're tangerine. This baby was the lightest baby that we hatched last year, but now it actually did not turn out bad. It turned out to be one of the brightest and one of the most orange that actually grew up into adulthood. Thank you. And I saw this with a couple other geckos that we had. One sibling was lighter in coloration than another sibling, but when the lighter sibling grew up into adulthood, it wound up being more bright of an orange than its sibling, who was darker of an orange when it was younger. So for you to know the quality of the gecko, it's really going to take probably, I'd say, somewhere between that 3 to 6 month mark to see how the gecko's color is going to finalize. They almost always get really, really bright around months 3, 4, 5. And then around month 6 or 7, they start, I don't want to say dulling out, but they start settling in to their adult colors. I'll put it that way. They get a little bit less bright and they start settling into their adult colors. So just remember that, guys. When you're buying geckos, they're always going to look their best between months 3 to 6, most likely. And this gecko is past month 6 already. So that's why I can tell that this is a good quality gecko, because if this gecko is this bright after month 6, that means that he's pretty much going to stay this color until they get, past a year to 2 years old. As they get older, they're going to lose a little bit more color as time goes on. But this is a good boy right here. So any lids that have poo on it, I will rinse those lids off. So I'm going to go rinse this lid. So most of the time, guys, poo will come off with hot water. But if it doesn't, you'll just want to have like a reptile sponge handy so that you can use the rough end of the sponge to knock that poo off. And I'm going to give him some new water. And again, this is the time that they love to drink. When you give them the new water, that's usually the time they drink. So I don't normally see them drinking out of the water bowl any other time except when I give them fresh water. You can see that this one did not eat some worms, but there's no poo in here, so I don't need to clean this out. I just need to dump it and fill it. And since this gecko did not eat all of its worms last time, I'll actually only give it like 20 to 30 worms instead of, 30 to 40 or 40 to 50. And we're going to pull the newspaper, dump it upside down, dump the rest, go rinse this. So Luna, I don't know if you're still there or anyone who's chimed in recently. At the beginning of this live chat, I was discussing how the ultimate goal and dream of ours is to make an interactive reptile facility. So that's what we're saving up for. That's what all super chats, donations, and proceeds go towards. So appreciative for anyone who's here, tuning in, asking questions, whoever's donating. Our goal with Geeky Gecko Creations is to take it big and just, I love this hobby. My business partner loves this hobby. And I know that you guys love this hobby. And we want to create like a reptile farm that people can come and visit when they're in town on the West Coast or schedule an appointment for. And we'll have a huge facility where we'll have all different kinds of reptile species indoors, all different kinds of reptile species outdoors. We'll have like a genetics lab, like a breeding area, so that when you come and visit our facility, you can get your hands into everything and just kind of get hands-on, learn. Maybe you could get a snake massage. I don't know if you've seen Brian Barczyk and how he used to have a snake massage room where you lie down on a table and large pythons and boas would crawl on you. It actually feels really good. I've had my wife put some of our large boas on me, and the muscles of the snakes just like crunch over your body. It's amazing. So that's the goal and dream, guys. And anything you do to help support that, I'm so appreciative. That's where we want to go with this. So just so you know the direction that we're heading in. They're always so cute. Look at them. What's up, Cody? I'm down with the cause. I appreciate that, brother. We will see you at our reptile facility then sometime in the future. If I had to put a timeline on it, You know, it's obviously going to take time to grow because it takes time, but maybe somewhere in that 5-year mark would be great to like get our first facility growing and then continue to expand like outdoors and outdoor environments, large environments. People could have birthday parties there, corporate parties, whatever the case is, to come and see reptiles, right? Because there's zoos all over the country, and I love all kinds of exotic animals, but I really have a passion for reptiles, and you know, just want to allow others who have that same passion to dive deep into that. Maybe swim with crocodiles or something, you know. So anyway, here is, don't know what the name of this one is. If you got any name recommendations for this one, then you can shout it out. But it's like a bright orange with some slight green undertones. It's got an interesting marking on the head. I truly appreciate the information you give me anytime, Jordan. I appreciate you guys. I love being able to share. It's another reason why I do this. I love to be able to share. So I'm down to invest one of these days. Absolutely, Cody. And just you being here and being a part of this is investment, and it does help, guys. Every single like helps. If you share this like on your Facebook pages or with your friends, every little bit counts and helps, right? Because as we grow, you grow with us automatically. So every bit of you just contributing, it counts. I can't express that enough. It counts, whether it's monetary or whether it's in another form of just sharing this channel with others. It helps so much, and I appreciate it, guys. Oh, here's the treat. Here's a treat. Our little toothless one right here. That is kind of what we named him. I know that's not the most creative, but we had to, right? I mean, how can you not name him Toothless, right? So this is our male Black Knight. He's actually bred with 2 of our Black Knight females this year, as well as an Afghanicus female. We want to take the Black Knight bloodline. When I was talking a second ago about crossing it into subspecies bloodlines and strengthening the bloodline of the black, you know, of inbred lines like Black Knight and Tangerine. We want to take the Black Knight bloodline and breed it into Afghanicus because Afghanicus is one of the darker patterned subspecies. And so this guy has bred with 1 Afghanicus female so far. This human hid's okay. That'll last him another 3 days until I see him on the next cleaning. He did not eat all of his worms, but there is no poo in here, so we're just going to clean it. I mean, just dump it, sorry. And his cage is actually pretty clean because I just cleaned it last cleaning session, so I'm not even going to clean his cage this time. You could tell he's only got 2 poos there. Usually for me to clean a cage, it needs to have somewhere between like 8 to 10 poos. Maybe like 6 to 10 poos. Depends how messy it looks, but needs water, so I'm gonna go get him some water. Hey, hon, you back?
Yeah.
What you doing? What you up to? Huh? Are you able to help me at all, or you need to rest? I was just gonna have to do water or something while I'm cleaning and doing that chat. All right, so we got some water there. Let's see what I missed on the chat. I'm sure I missed something here. Show the wife. Yeah, my wife just came home, actually. I was trying to get her to come in here, but she's pretty tired. She teaches all day, and then she went to Zumba class, so she's a little wiped out. We will catch her on the next video, but she will. Yeah, she's a champ. Serena says you're a champ, hun. She laughed and said thank you because, yeah, my wife, guys, couldn't do this without her. We have a 4-bedroom house, and 3 out of the 4 bedrooms are dedicated to reptiles. I mean, just picture that. Picture, you know, so, and she's someone that I did not meet her in the reptile community, right? So she's passionate about it now, but I brought the passion to her. It's not like she was into reptiles just as much as I'm into reptiles, you know? So yeah, Serena, I appreciate you saying that. And I'm sure she does, because she really is a champ to allow us to basically, half of our backyard is taken up by tegus, sailfin dragons. It's going to be iguanas in the future. 3 of our bedrooms are taken up by indoor species like leopard geckos, ball pythons, and while it's winter time, some savanna monitors, bearded dragon. We do want to have kids. We want to give it a little bit of time because we just got married last March. So we're actually, this March 9th will be our 1-year anniversary. So shout out to that. And we want to give it a little time so she has time to develop her career as a teacher and spend time as a teacher before we have kids, because she wants to take some time off to have kids when she, you know, when we do get pregnant. And that's another reason why, guys, I'm trying to work so hard to make the reptile business work, because when we do have kids and we're on one income, I want the reptile business to be sustainable for us as a family so that she doesn't have to work. So, does your tub have holes? These tubs do not have holes. Reason being is because when you come over here, you can see, well, okay, this tub has a hole only because I had a lid on it at some point. But if you don't have a lid on it, you don't need any holes, because this racking system has an 1/8 of an inch gap, like a 16 to an 1/8 of an inch gap that allows for fresh airflow. So you do not need holes in the tub. Man, lucky kids. I would, yeah. I always joke with her about putting the kids to work when they're like 6 years old, like cleaning reptile poo and water dishes. Hear about the iguana tegu ban? I did, Cody. There's a big thing going on in the United States right now where there's like 10 different states, 6 or 10 different states that are trying to ban reptiles. So if you guys have a desire to look into that, go to usark.com. That stands for United States. I don't know if someone knows what that stands for. I apologize for not knowing, but the usark.com is the community. It's the organization that supports us having the freedom to own reptiles. And since that's under attack right now, Florida being one of the biggest states, the Carolinas, Louisiana, I think there's a few states that are under some serious attack to ban reptiles. Could you guys imagine that? They're trying to ban reptiles. Any species of reptile that could live in that state, they're trying to ban. So that's pretty big, right? So if you have a desire to learn more, go to usark.com. You could donate to that organization as well, and their fight to allow us to continue to grow in this hobby. So advance happy. Thank you. Yeah, March 9th. I appreciate that, Zarita. I will share that with Whitney, which is my wife's name. And don't rush the kids thing. Stack your bag life with your life, bro. Yeah, we do want to, we do want to take our time with the kids because she wants to grow her career as a teacher, and I want to take some time to grow the reptile business as well and put my focus into that before we before we have kids. So hopefully we can like hire a couple of employees and stuff before we have kids so that I can, still be a father and spend time with them and stuff. So lucky kids. Yeah. Thank you. That'd be awesome. USARK is a huge advocator factor. Gigantic, Cody, gigantic. USARK, if you don't know who they are, or you have a desire to support like a reptile cause, USARK will be one of those organizations that you'll want to donate to, due to a couple non-reputable people. So we're going to put this guy away. So this is a perfect example of a cage that needs to be changed. You can see all of those poos there. That's like 10 different poos. The gecko is in the tub. This is an Afghanicus gecko. Remember we were talking about those pure species, those pure subspecies? And you can see just how dark an Afghanicus gecko's black patternation is. Oh, I can't say that. Look how black that pattern is. That is why we are combining this with the Black Knight to continue darkening up the Black Knight bloodline, as well as giving it fresh blood so that we can start outcrossing the Black Knight bloodline, since it's been inbred so much to get that beautiful black coloration. And it's the same thing with Tangerine. Tangerines have been inbred a lot as well. So it's just fun to have fresh blood to cross that into. Well, if you want to grow and stretch out to Florida, like I said, I'm down to be a part of it. Yeah, I appreciate that, Cody. I will keep that in mind. I'm sure I'll see you more in the chats as time goes on, and definitely let you know if that's something that we do. We did want to move down to, we did want to visit Florida because of Ty Park's reptile park over there. I don't know if you've been there, Cody, but Ty Park, he's a big reptile breeder. He has a gigantic reptile park over there, like Jurassic Park for reptiles. It's so cool. How much time in between each cleaning do you usually do? It's 3 to 4 days between. So every 3 to 4 days, I check food and water for everybody. So 2 times a week, everybody gets their food and water checked. And you don't actually need to clean the substrate for every 2 weeks. You could do it every 2 to 3 weeks. Will be that much poo. You know what I mean? 10 to 12 poos will happen in like, I want to say around 2-week mark. Go get some fresh water here. And because this needs cleaning, we're going to take it, dump it upside down. And then dump all the dirt. The reason I dump it upside down is so that all of that poo goes face down and it gets like trapped underneath each layer. That's just the way that I do it. So how often are you changing your humid hides? Need to get sprayed, I would say 1 to 2 times a week, and changed out. Honestly, humid hides, I have some humid hides that I haven't even changed out for like 6 months. So as long as the gecko is not pooing in the humid hide, that eco earth will last for 6 months to a year in the gecko's tub. I'd say that's probably, you know, a decent amount of time frame there. 6 months to a year when you want to change out the actual eco earth to fresh eco earth. But there are some geckos that I have that will poo in their humid hide, like a couple of them. Those ones I will scoop out the poo when I find it, and if it's dirty enough, I'll just dump the whole thing and change it right away. So, but yeah, I would say 99% of the geckos I have do not poo in their humid hide, and that eco earth will last in there 6 months. It lasts a long time. Oh, so when the bottom of the tub is a little bit wet too, it allows for the newspaper to stick to it so that the gecko's not moving the newspaper all around. And if it's not so wet, you could kind of give it a quick little spray. You'll want to buy, as you grow, you'll want to buy one of these. It's $12 from Walmart. And oh man, it's like one of the best $12 I've ever spent. It is so worth it. It allows me to spray the humid hides. It allows me to spray for my sailfin dragons, my bearded dragon, my savanna monitors. It's great for all of that. So, and I actually have one of those for every different room. This is my leopard gecko room. I have one just for the leopard geckos. I have one just for my ball pythons. I have one just for the anonymous, not anonymous, the, what is it? Miscellaneous room. The miscellaneous room has bearded dragon in it, Savannah monitor, and sailfin dragon, and ribbon snakes in there. I used that one in that room to spray down all of those species. So, and then I have one that is full of a 10% bleach solution, 10% bleach to water solution, so that when I take my ball python tubs outside and clean them once every few weeks, I can spray down the tubs with bleach and then let the bleach, sit on there for 10 to 15 minutes. That's usually the time period where bleach will kill bacteria, fungus, all that kind of stuff. And then I'll rinse the tubs down and let them naturally dry and evaporate outside of my backyard. Guys, believe it or not, my wife and I had this whole operation running out of our 1-bedroom apartment last year. So yeah, going back to what you said, Serena, definitely a trooper. She was sleeping with 8-foot boas next to her bed, literally. So, and that was back when I wasn't, I was in a different location than her. I wasn't even living with her at that point, and she had all the reptiles in the apartment. So, okay, I got school tomorrow. Yeah, go. I appreciate it, Serena. Enjoy it. Same thing I told one of the other guys that I was talking to. Yeah, enjoy school, continue to share your passion, and that's very important. So go ahead, have a good one, and we will see you on the next time. How many eggs can a first-time female breeder produce? I have a first-year female breeder that's actually produced 16 ovulations this year. She's produced 14 eggs and 16 ovulations. Her first 2 ovulations, she reabsorbed and they never turned into eggs. But after that, she's laid 7 clutches of eggs. Pretty crazy. I would say, though, the average first-year female is probably going to lay somewhere between 6 to 10. 6 to 10 in general is what every female is going to lay for you, no matter what year she's in. But we're starting to data collect and see if that means anything on the large scale of things. We'll kind of do some data analyzing in the future and try to see if we could come up with numbers. Ron Tremper has come up with some numbers where his data came to light that a first-year female produces like 4 to 6 eggs, a second-year female 6 to 8 eggs, a third-year female 10 to 12 eggs, a fourth-year female 12 to 16 eggs. So the sweet spot, according to his data, was years 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then it starts tapering off where the females start producing less. But obviously that's just one set of data, but that's like the godfather of the leopard gecko world. So he was producing thousands of leopard geckos, and that was the data he came up with. But data is always subject to change, which is why we are keeping our own set of fresh data here at Geeky Gecko Creations so that we can answer questions like that. Thank you so much, Serena. Have a good night. Okay, we're going to put this guy away. Okay. Can I be real with you guys? Whew. Can I be honest with you guys? I appreciate you all being here. So, it's funny because I did a 3-hour stream last night, and like maybe you could hear it a little in my voice, but I love this. I love doing this, but I need to stop myself, because if I don't stop myself right now, I'm not going to get accomplished everything that I need to get accomplished. And that's one of the reasons why you guys love this channel so much, is because not only we have content, but the content has to be backed by healthy animals, breeding animals, a balanced life. I need to grab some dinner and spend some time with the wife. So I'm sure you guys will understand, but I do need to end the live stream here so that I can finish cleaning and then go into breeding tonight. Breeding is its own beast. And maybe even I'll do a live stream like tomorrow night or something where I tune you guys in where I do the breeding aspect of things, if that's something that you guys think you might like. But I plan on doing a lot of live streams, so just continue to hit me up with ideas of what you're interested in. And I will bring you guys along for the ride and let you guys see everything behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. It just takes a little bit of time, right? So the amount of time that I spent only cleaning like 5 geckos right now is, it would have taken me maybe like 20 minutes and it's taken me like 2.5 hours. But I love you guys. I love being here. But for the sake of what I need to accomplish tonight, I still need to clean the rest of those geckos and I still need to breed. And breeding takes 2 to 3 hours usually on a nightly or every nightly basis to get accomplished what I need to right now with pairing the geckos, watching them pair, collecting the data, looking at eggs, putting eggs away, getting eggs that have hatched. So I appreciate you guys so much. Let me see if there's any last questions. I don't see any last questions. So thank you guys so much for understanding. I will see you guys tomorrow. I will do another live stream tomorrow. It'll either be at night when I'm breeding the geckos or maybe during the day when I'm cleaning the geckos. If you have any comments, comment below of when you want me to do the live stream, and I will try to take those comments into consideration and just get you guys involved with everything that's going on here. So Zarita, thank you for answering not just my question. Yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow, and have a good night.